We have a super exciting episode for you today. We're going to be comparing Vanderpump Rules with Southern Hospitality. We're putting them to the test to see which is the best Bravo spinoff. But to make it fair, because one is going into its 10th season and one is in its first one, we actually went back and rewatched the first season of Vanderpump Rules. So we're going to be looking at the two on three things. We're going to be rating them on the premise. So why does this show exist? The cast drama, and quotability, because we love those one-liners.
Yeah, the ones that Stassi and Lisa Vanderpump are so famous for.
Exactly. So we'll see if the new group has equally quotable cast.
I can think of a couple on the top of my head, so I'm excited to see.
So number one, the premise of the show, Vanderpump Rules and Southern Hospitality. So right off the bat, when I was watching this, it's so clear the premise of Vanderpump Rules, right? It's not just that it's about Lisa Vanderpump and all of the 20 and 30 somethings who work at her restaurant, but they really showed that they're all struggling actors or actresses and models that are really just doing this to make ends meet. And they reinforced that so many times in those first few episodes.
Yeah, no, it's true. And what I liked so much about kind of just the initial kickoff with Vanderpump Rules is how easy it is to kind of like digest like what we're being handed, right? Like we know Lisa Vanderpump from Beverly Hills very well, like even if it's only like the second or third season that this is being introduced.
Yeah, I think so.
But then right, it's like super soon into the series, but she was just such a massive kind of like success right off the bat, such a fan favorite. But then we also get like such easily digestible characters too with the kickoff. Like we've got like they're all dating, makes it super easy to kind of like pair them all together.
Yeah.
But then there's just not too much to focus on, which I think is kind of one of the things that I'm like a little bit, especially at the very beginning of Southern Hospitality, like there's a lot of going on.
Yeah, no, that's it. And like you had mentioned in our first installment of this, when we looked at the first episodes of each, they made it so clear. Like they had, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The general, yeah, Peter. They had Peter set up very clearly. Like
yes.
these people are dating, and we used to room together, and it feels so like real that this is just a group of friends that Bravo just hit like the jackpot on because they have all this like crazy drama in their lives. But I didn't remember like how much they really did lean into the fact that they were like struggling actors and models and all of that. Yes. Like they have multiple sequences where they show them all doing kind of like their side gigs. Like they show the boys modeling and the girls as well, and they have like Sheena and being like a singer with her performances and all that. And like you just like you get the feeling that it's more than about just the restaurant, where as far as I can see right now from Southern Hospitality, that's the only premise, that they work at this club. I think like one of them is like a personal trainer, but that's not really integral to the show. So yeah, it's just kind of like it left me wondering. I don't really understand why this was the one that they chose, especially because like the main thing that they had that I really thought they were going to lean into was that this is Republic, and this is like an iconic place in terms of like Southern charm and all these things that have happened at Republic. Like you had said in the last episode, like all of these hookups and all of these crazy moments that we know happened there. What were those again?
Well, we definitely have like a few like hookups between, I think, Catherine and Shep happening at Republic, like very early seasons of Southern charm. But yeah, I don't know. Republic was just kind of something that they also were just always talking about. And like, I really didn't get a sense of that identity of that kind of like club or like that atmosphere when watching this. Like I feel so removed from those two spaces. And I really wish that we had gotten kind of more of a crossover between the two series in this space, because I don't know, it's been like super interesting to get to see. Like we like Southern charm, so like why wouldn't we want to see them kind of interacting a little bit more?
I guess
Especially
maybe
now that we know that Mia and Shep have interacted. So
that's true. Yeah, Mia did not come to play. She was pretty savage in that
I
Watch What Happens
know.
Live. What did she call Shep? Like geriatric?
Geriatric. Yeah, she has no experience working with the geriatrics in Charleston, so she's not equipped to date Shep.
Yeah, they didn't lean into it at all, and I really wish that they did, because there's so many like juicy things that have happened at Republic. They're always talking about it during Southern Charms, like free product placement. And the other thing that they didn't really lean into a lot is the fact that it's set in Charleston. That
I know.
I was pretty surprised by. I feel like they'll have like a throwaway sentence here or there, like when Leva was like, "We're still in Charleston, like pull down your spandex, skin tight,
your tiny,
dresses.
as small as humanly possible clothing to technically still be considered clothing." Yeah, I know, and that's the other thing too. Like, especially with the way that they set up Beverly Hills, the way that they've set up Charleston, like all these in New York City, like all these locations. Maybe Potomac is like the only one that like didn't really have like a reputation like to the general public kind of coming in and like watching this show. Like Charleston is something that they like really were able to create in the first few episodes of Southern Charm. I keep on having to think about it like Southern Charm.
I know, Summer House, Southern Hospitality, Southern Charm.
Southern Charm. But yeah, so I'm really upset. I'm also kind of just like missing that like aspect. And I guess maybe to a certain extent, like this is a more diverse and this is a more young cast than some Southern Charm. And maybe it's like a little bit more like out of the ordinary of what you would expect from, you know, this kind of like Southern Belle kind of like whatever like image that's been created in Southern Charm. But at the same time, like I still feel like the location is iconic enough and interesting enough that like you should be able to kind of like tie into like the location.
And the fact is, like, once you take those things out, like you didn't lean into the location, you didn't lean into the history of this club, like that's why when you're talking about premise, like you're kind of just like, what, like this could have happened anywhere, like they could have put this club anywhere and like shot it. So I guess they were just like, oh, Vanderpump Rules was super popular and like this is a similar type of thing, where it's a club and not a restaurant, let's just go and see what happens.
Well, and I think that's it too. Like I think if you think about the timing of when this show was probably like green lit and like brought forward, like Vanderpump Rules was kind of starting to like struggle to find its identity. That's true. This is also interesting because going back to what you were saying about like all the cast of early Vanderpump Rules wanting to be like models, actors, actresses, singers, whatever, like the reason that they wanted to have those dreams were because being a reality TV star and making money from that wasn't a thing. I think the reason why we're not seeing the Southern hospitality kids like going after those kind of things is because they know this is where the money is. This is good money. Like we can work at this restaurant, we can work at this bar, we can be on reality TV, and we'll get like money through like Instagram and whatever, TikTok, whatever. I don't know.
That's such a good point. And
and sorry, go ahead.
Oh no.
No.
But yeah, it's also just funny because it is so different in that like they're talking a lot about how like Lev at one point talks about how she mainly hired them to post on social, and that's just part of their job. And like, so, you know, you definitely can't deny that these are coming to be at very different times, which I think also makes it interesting. But it also shows like the reason I was really excited to look at these two cases as well is because Vanderpump Rules kind of made like the blueprint, like you said, like it was really the first one of its kind. So it was exciting to see like what a show similar to it so many years later would look like. But I think because they've probably all seen Vanderpump Rules, or maybe they haven't, but I would imagine that they had.
I expect they probably have.
A lot of it just feels a lot more produced as well. Like it doesn't feel like it hits those authentic beats that you really did get on Vanderpump Rules with like, you know, there's one where Stassi was like breaking down because she found out about Jack's like alleged hookup in
Las Vegas.
Or like the friend groups who like break up and make up every other day. Like those are so real. a lot of the moments on Southern Hospitality, they just feel very produced.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. And I think that that also speaks to kind of like where reality TV has like come over these like so many years, because it does feel like it is becoming more produced. People like have caught on to the formula, so they know how to do it. Whereas like back then, like, yeah, there was a lot of reality TV even by like 2010 or whenever Vanderpump Rules was starting, but it was still relatively new. And the versions of reality TV that we were seeing back then, like it was a lot more niche than like what we have now, where it's like massive. Like you have an entire BravoCon for this industry.
That's
like
so
it's
true.
that's not a normal thing that just like came up overnight. Like so like 10 years ago, like yeah, it was feeling a lot more like real and raw. And I think that's the one thing the reality TV like struggles with these days, is feeling overproduced, because the cast members have been studying up on it for years. Like they know how to do this.
No, for sure. And then I think the last part too is that there also was like a really seamless tie-in with Brandy, you know, having hooked up. Sorry, Sheena having hooked up with Brandy's ex-husband that you saw on Real Housewives, and there was like a crossover and a tie-in, which is like just like yet another hook where you're like, wow, yes, I understand why you're making the show.
Yeah. Well, and that was actually something that was interesting about going back and doing the rewatch too, because there's a scene when Lisa, I think it's in like the 4th episode or so, Lisa's talking to Jax, and he's at her house and they're like setting up for like an event. And I was like,
the shirtless boy event.
The shirtless boy event. And I was like, wait a minute, wasn't this an episode of Beverly Hills? And it was. So like I went back and like watched the episode of Beverly Hills, and I was like, I can't believe it. Like they were so threaded together. Like that's just like, that's beautiful.
It was so smart. They definitely like did their due diligence to make sure that this was going to catch on. And you know, this isn't really related to the premise, but it also kind of made me think of when this got greenlit, to your point, because Leva, we talked about this as well, like Leva did not really show up that much in the last season of Southern Charm. She like kind of phoned it in, except for when she like came in and started drama and then left. And it's like, if you knew that you had this other like show coming out, I feel like you would be going like extra hard.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and you know, I think there's been some rumors about like potentially like jealousy between the Southern Charm cast members towards Leva, and I don't know how legitimate that is.
Well, I mean, it's pretty apparent, at least from Craig, from the season finale when he like screamed at her.
I know he was really hoping that there was going to be a Sewing Down South spinoff.
Maybe one day it'll
Maybe
be like
it could happen.
Make the pillows faster.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, you guys, you're not posting nearly enough about these pillows on your social medias. I'm really disappointed. But also even for like the greenlit point too, like if you think about like where Vanderpump Rules was when this was probably like starting to come into like production and stuff, like up until when Katie and Schwartz announced their divorce, like I feel like people were kind of like writing Vanderpump Rules off. Like I feel like the network hadn't even picked it up for another season, and then that happened, right? So like maybe they were just kind of like transitioning, like, okay, Vanderpump Rules is done, we're gonna get rid of that, maybe we'll like reframe it and turn it into something else, and we'll do like, I don't know, Valley Girls, like whatever, like spin-off or something, because they were all going off and living in the valley. And then they were like, okay, well, what are we going to do to replace it? So like they were just like ushering in this new thing. And I think that maybe because they were like, okay, well, we just need to like copy and paste what we did with Vanderpump somewhere else, they like did this, and they didn't, to your point, do like the due diligence to like make sure that that was actually like properly woven in together, and like really doing great like storytelling and expanding this universe.
They're definitely asking a lot of the viewers, I think, to like be invested when they're not giving us that much to go off of. The one thing that they are doing a lot is really trying to make Republic seem like the most luxurious, high class establishment, or at least the cast. Like every other sentence is just how like VIP and exclusive it is, but then it'll like cut to the video of them basically trying to like wrangle people off the street into the club to like buy a VIP table.
Yeah, which honestly sounds like the worst that you could possibly do to me. It's like, no, thank you. Please leave me alone.
Yeah, and like I was reading on Reddit about it too, and some people who were saying who had been there, like it's really just a college bar, which is super fun too, and has a time and a place. But I don't think it's what they're trying to make it seem like it is.
Yeah, I think that's I think you're right about that. It's just, and that's just it. You can only make a club so much, right? Like how much is there to really work with there?
So for the premise of the show, who do you give this point to?
Solely just because of how like expertly like woven in the storylines are, it's got to go to VPR. Like, yeah, Hundo P.
I agree. So and actually watching it actually made me like respect it even more, because I really didn't realize how much of this foundation they had laid right at the beginning.
I know, so many little Easter eggs for all those Bravo, I don't know, the Bravoholics out there.
Bravoholics.
Bravoholics.
Coined, probably already termed, but
yeah, exactly, trademark.
Number 2, VPR versus Southern Hospitality, is the cast drama. Yeah. So what are our initial thoughts?
What are my initial thoughts? Oh my gosh. Well, so I do think that like what I have to give Vanderpump Rules at this is like just how right off the bat they were in the drama. And that's one thing that I think that like Southern Hospitality like struggled with a bit is like, I think if they had like edited the show and like started it like in the 3rd episode, like that would have been interesting. That's when the drama starts. Like that's when they go to like do like NASCAR. That's when like things actually start to happen. I feel like they spent like too many like episodes like, you know, talking about fake drama or like made up things. Like, yeah, exactly. Like this whole like drama between, oh god, I don't know any other names, Grace Lily and Leva. Like there was a whole bunch of drama there about like how Grace was good at her job, wasn't good at her job, whatever. There like one of the male characters, I don't know his name.
I know
Grace Lily's like
the
only person I know.
Yeah, I mean the fact that we don't know their names after 6 episodes is like kind of telling.
And I have watched all the episodes.
I know, me too.
So I should know their names.
That's it. That was another thing. I think we were texting each other as we were watching. I'm like, so much happened. Even the first 3 episodes. Like by episode 3, Stassi and Jax have already broken up. We have the bombshell of the rumor about him like cheating on her, and and there's the, you know, this is a breakup. And then following that, I'm trying to remember if I could find everything. So first 6 episodes, we have Pride Parade. That's actually episode 2. And that's like such like
that was so much sooner than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah.
So much sooner. There's the breakup, there's a Jax cheating story, there's already the cast trip to Mexico, which brought us so much.
No, Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, sorry. Cast trip to Las Vegas.
Mexico's coming up though.
Who went to okay, yeah, it's because they go to Vegas or Mexico just all the time. Yeah. And then we had the infamous like pouring of the drink on Stassi from Tom, and then all the boys for some reason rip their shirts off and have a fight in the parking lot.
Go get into that parking lot, guys.
As one does. The shirt is very cumbersome when you're trying to fight.
Yeah, can't do it. I don't want to ruin my shirt. I better rip it off.
Yeah.
So that I can fight.
It was so weird.
This guy's
and then I think like Tom Sandoval also takes his shirt off and he's like not involved in the fight.
Just in case. I don't want to ruin it.
Then we have like new love interest, like Laura Lee is in the first 6 episodes, and she's just like a whole. We'll talk about her in a second.
Yeah. Frank's in the first 6 episodes.
Frank shows up and then also gets fired
very quickly. Yeah, I know. Well, and that was kind of the thing too, because I do feel like there were so many similarities. If we really just look at the first 6 episodes, there are so many similarities between like what happens in the 2 shows. There's a birthday party of the main cast member,
and they're both 20. They both turned 24.
Are you serious?
I thought Stassi was turning 25, when she was turning 24, and then also Grace Lily's like, oh yeah, this is like a milestone birthday of 24.
Oh yeah. Because you only turned 24 once. That makes total sense.
Every birthday is a milestone birthday.
Milestone birthday if you celebrate hard enough. But yeah, and then they go on the cast trips. Granted, they go to NASCAR for one, they go to Las Vegas for the other. They get reprimanded by their boss. They get have a group meeting where they all get in trouble. Trying to think if there's like anything else, but I did feel like there were like a bunch of things that they're like, okay, these all happened in both ones, but they just use those 6 episodes so differently.
It's so true. Well, even when they're on the cast trip, like Katie calls Lisa to tell her like the drama that went down, and then in Southern Hospitality, the boys were texting with Leva.
Joe Bradley.
Like one of the 3 names that we remember. If there's 2 names in your name, maybe we'll remember. But,
oh my God.
I did want to talk specifically about the like reprimanding conversations following the cast trips, because I feel like those were so different in like the mannerisms and the way that they were handled between like Lisa and Leva. For Lisa, she was mainly upset because like what had happened, like their big fight happened at a restaurant. She's like, when you go out as a group, like you're representing my restaurant, and she's like, I'm gonna hear your point of view, but I'm really disappointed. You know, Lisa's always very kind of like motherly, but like, you know, with a cheeky, like
stern,
Lisa.
cheeky, and like motherly, like definitely all encompassing.
Exactly. And like she definitely like teeters on the line and says some things that you're like, ooh, I can't imagine that being like happening in a professional place. But she still for the most part like is coming from like a motherly place. I was kind of surprised at how Leva dealt with it. She had some harsh words, so I actually wrote down, she was like, I don't give a shit what your answers are to it. End of discussion. I don't want to hear an effing word about it. Grow the F up.
Oh my God. That is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Like I would be shook if I heard my boss say that to me. And I think it's interesting how they both like inserted themselves into this drama where like both Leva and Lisa, where like, would you actually as an employer be able to like have a problem with this? Like, this Trevor guy doesn't even work for you, so like, is it a problem? Like, are people gonna see these things? I don't know. And then the same kind of thing with like Lisa, where it's like, do you really have a leg to stand on? Like, they were in a completely different state. Like, yeah, they were at a restaurant, but like, do you know the restaurant owner? Like, what's going on here?
It's hard. Like I could definitely see the fact that it happened in another restaurant, and I feel like she was just like, as a restaurant owner, like I'm not happy with that. The Leva thing's interesting because like I also like when I was watching it, I was like, oh wow, like I've like that's a lot. But it's true, like what, like they're not at her restaurant, they're not working, they're off of work hours. The only thing is like maybe that they had their company, if they had their company name in their profile, then you can make a connection. But that was a lot of the reaction online as well. That was like, you know, but it was both like just weird the way that it was dealt with everything. I thought it was so funny when Maddie was like, I think it's just beautiful. Like, it's just women. Like it's just women being empowered.
We love that. We love to see it.
But like, especially coming from her, she's one that I find like so confusing. I feel like at the beginning you're kind of like, oh yeah, like she seems like pretty level-headed, and it's cool that there's like a sober character who's like working in the club. Is
she sober?
Yeah, they talk about that, I think like the first or second episode.
Ooh,
I don't know how she like deals with that.
I don't know how I missed that. Yeah.
But the thing that's weird about her as it progresses is like she keeps talking all the time about how she's a manager. Also, can you like, a manager at 24 seems really young, right?
It does seem very young. Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I was like that anyway. So she always talks about how she's in this position of power and how it's so important. But then she like hooks up with her boyfriend in the RV next to all of her coworkers.
That was so gross.
And like screams at Joe Bradley at that girl's birthday, whatever her name is. the blonde girl.
Oh, Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was like a bit of a weird thing too that they had. Like I feel like at the beginning they were thinking that like Maddie and Grace Lily were gonna be kind of like the Sheena and Stassi characters.
Yeah.
But I actually think that like, and this is again, why they should have just started a few episodes later. Because I feel like it's actually come out that more it's like Mia and Grace Lily that are the two like kind of like adversaries that are kind of like duking it out and stuff and having like issues with one another. They're actually kind of coming forward as like kind of like the more of the stars of the show, even though I feel like Mia was a character that like for the first few episodes I legitimately had no idea that she was there.
Oh, same. Yeah, they start putting her more and more in it. I think she's like a fan favorite. I like her.
Yeah,
she's funny, except when she made that comment about how like she goes to work and she's like, I was on a yacht and like I kissed a boy, like what did you do? And she's like, and then this woman's like, my cat threw up. And I'm like, I feel like I'm the person talking about their animals on the weekend.
Yeah, my cat did throw up.
Yeah,
this is really relatable content to me. Let's see this lady.
We've probably had that conversation.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it is funny to see the beats being similar. It's just like for some reason none of them felt as big, which kind of just goes back to how they did just hit the jackpot, not that
the jackpot. Jackson's pot.
I'm tired.
Yes,
they hit the jackpot with Vanderpump Rules because like all this drama was totally real within these groups. Like,
yeah,
even right at the beginning you have the groups kind of like disintegrating and like Stassi's best friends like turn against her. Side note, Katie and oh my gosh, why can I not think of names today? Katie and Kristen are such bad friends.
I know.
Like Stassi breaks up with Jax because he's horrible and they're like, but you guys would have such cute babies.
I know. And then like they're just like complete distrust of like Frank and like anything that he has to say.
To be fair,
like,
Frank sucks.
Frank does suck. I totally get that.
Especially
but at the same time, but they have like this like sit down with Jax at one point when he's like doing this like swan song, like so sad, whatever. And they're just like, oh, we're so sorry, Jax. This is so awful for you. I'm just like, oh my god, how could you do this? This is why I was instantly a Stassi fan, because I was just like, how could you guys? Like, what are you doing?
No, 100%.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
Yeah, even like the biggest thing that happened, I think, on Southern Hospitality, at least at the beginning, was like Grace Lily's birthday when they got into that huge fight because someone said like, you don't deserve to work at Republic, as one of the like truths. And it's like, that is the most planted thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's why they should have just given me the show. I would have edited it a little bit sooner, just gotten straight to NASCAR. Call to production. Go straight to NASCAR. That's where it started.
It is getting better. I definitely have to say that it's getting better. At the beginning, like, after that first episode, like we really didn't want to watch again.
I didn't think I was gonna watch the scene. Like I was like, nah.
Up until like the fourth episode, it actually started to find its footing, but that's also why I'm happy we're rewatching Vanderpump Rules, because like they came out a long time ago and like they somehow hit all of these beats right at the beginning.
Oh yeah, big time. Well, and that's the thing too, like you really like in this day and age you have so little time to capture people's attention, right? Like you don't have 3 or 4 episodes to like get them into like the groove and understand what they're all about. Like people are watching TikToks, and if it's like within 10 seconds they're not interested, they're going to the next one. Like so like with the TV show, like you don't necessarily have the time to like be like, this is a 40-minute show, I hope you like all of it. Like, I hope you stick around for the next 4 40-minute shows. I think social media is kind of like now catching on. Like I feel like I'm finally seeing it on like Instagram accounts and stuff.
I can't believe we also didn't talk about our backgrounds.
What do you mean? This is normal.
There's Lisa. There's Lisa today.
You're Lisa today. I am. Who am I? I am. Oh, I don't know her. I don't know.
Oh no, what's her name? Is it Lucia? Lucia? She's the one with the kid.
Yeah. Southern Hospitality cast.
It's just so funny to see how the styles have changed as well. And this is Jax on his first nose.
Yeah. Well, even then, I don't know.
Or maybe not first, but okay. So for cast drama, who do we give our vote to?
Oh God. I don't know. Because the thing is, like, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Southern Hospitality for this one. Because
Ooh.
I truly do believe, and I've said it a million times now, the editing messed them up. I think that they have like a huge amount of potential. I'm very excited to see what happens with the rest of the season. And I'm already hooked. I'm ready for next season too. So I know there's gonna be a season 2. I'm ready for it. So
That's fair. That's
yeah.
fair. I feel super biased. I was gonna give it to Vanderpump Rules.
That's totally cool.
Just because of all of the things that happened and that they went just
Yeah.
like right into the drama right away.
Yeah.
But I totally respect you know, the Southern Hospitality Part 2, and I do think that they are starting to hit their stride on like episode 4, 5, 6. So excited to see where it goes. So I guess this one's a tie.
Yeah, this one's a tie. But I think you're right. Like there's just so much iconic stuff in Vanderpump Rules that you can't believe happens in the first 5 episodes. Like
It's so crazy. Like, I'm excited.
There's no reason for that much good stuff to happen in just 5 episodes.
No, for sure. The editors and producers, as they're watching this unfold, are probably just seeing like dollar signs in their eyes.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is a camera, apparently.
So before we get to our third and final criteria for Southern Hospitality versus Vanderpump Rules, be sure to like and subscribe if you like the Real Couchwives content. You want to keep over analyzing everything from the safety of your couch. Please do us a favor and just like and subscribe, because we want to get to BravoCon next year, and we can only do that if we hit 1,000. So yeah, let's go. So without further ado, we're going to get to quotability of Vanderpump Rules versus Southern Hospitality to see who has the most iconic lines. So to do this, I'm going to play a little game with you, Iris. I've compiled some quotes from Vanderpump Rules and Southern Hospitality. You're going to have to tell me A, which show is it from, and B, who said it.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the cast again from Southern.
No cheating.
I just need some names.
Need a cheat sheet.
Cool. I'm ready.
Okay, the first one. Okay. Not only did it hurt me, but he hurt 52 other people. People lit cigarettes on him.
Oh my God. 52 other people.
Hurt a lot of people.
I have no idea.
Okay, which show first?
I'm gonna say Vanderpump Rules because they were always smoking in that show. And who said it? I don't know. Tom Sandoval. Tom Sandoval. I have no idea.
Tom about other Tom.
Exactly. Yeah, Tom Schwartz was really cruel. The real villain of season 1.
So, okay, it's actually from Southern Hospitality, and it was Maddie about her ex now boyfriend again.
Oh my God, are you serious?
When he like cheated on her. It was a very big deal, and everyone was very upset.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my gosh. Jeez, yeah, I got that very wrong.
I mean, I feel like doing this exercise made me like need to pick out their names more and like made it sink in.
No, that was very smart. That was very smart.
Number 2 is don't sweat the petty stuff and don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Ooh, that's a really good one. Oh my God. I really thought that I was gonna know these.
I feel like you have to know this one.
Is this a Lisa Vanderpump quote from Vanderpump Rules?
It is.
Yay! Okay,
yeah.
Good.
She's
always talking about petting.
Yeah, it's so cheeky.
It's very cheeky.
She said it when they were having like issues with the scheduling because I think Stassi wasn't showing up because she was upset.
Yeah. Oh, okay, nice.
That was just some good old Lisa advice.
I love that. That's very good advice. Do not pet the sweaty stuff.
Okay, next is I feel like I went to a gynecology appointment with you.
Ooh, I feel like I remember that one. I think that's Southern Hospitality. Is it Emmy?
It was Leva when she was watching all of their Instagrams.
Yes, that makes sense.
Next up is taking care of a 32-year-old man is not high on my to-do list.
Oh, that's definitely Stassi.
Yeah, that's
No
VPR Stassi. Okay, I think so you got about half.
Nice. Okay. I got yay.
I have a lot more.
Okay.
Sometimes these kids need guidance, and sometimes they need a good, swift kick in the ass.
That's definitely LVP.
Gotta
be. Yay. Amazing. I love
it. Okay, moving on. The peanut butter is new to me at this point, but what does the condiment have to do with it?
I remember this one. This is Will on Southern Hospitality.
Yeah, about an explicit incident with his girlfriend.
Hook up with somebody.
Yeah,
like Reagan's boyfriend or something.
Yeah, for some reason we remember Reagan's name. Like who was in like one episode.
Yep.
And I remember Will.
She was introduced by herself, so it makes it a lot easier to remember a name when you're introduced by yourself.
One thing I just remember is when they were trying to show the whole like Reagan drama, they showed like this picture of Reagan and all these girls, and like they all look the same. I was like, are we supposed to distinguish? It was just a bunch of tall blonde girls.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so funny. I didn't even notice that one. I just remember the one that was like her on the boat, and I was like, man, that looks really nice. I would love to be on the boat. Just lounging.
The next one is, it's my birthday, and also I tied this one with, this is a breakup.
It's gotta be Stassi.
Yeah.
Vanderpump Rules. VPR.
LVP.
LVP. All the anagrams,
acronyms,
whatever acronyms.
I can also get the anagram. I'd rather move back to Tulum and live there where people love me and like me.
That's gotta be Grace Lilly.
Yeah.
I feel like
amazing.
I also want to do that.
Yeah, Grace Lilly comes in with the one-liners like a la Stassi.
She really does. And she's so delusional.
She really is. And at first it was really annoying to me, and I felt like it was so fake, and now it definitely does start to grow on you.
Yeah, and now I'm just like, oh no, that's just who you are.
It really is.
Yeah, I love it. I love that for her.
Yeah. This is a good one. Nobody liked you before except for me, and now everybody hates you and thinks you're disgusting.
Oh, nobody liked you before. Oh, is that Stassi?
It's our Stassi. It's a text that she sent to Laura Lee.
To Laura Lee. That's what I was thinking. She was so mean. Oh my god. She was
so mean.
So that like block of text that she sends to Laura Lee when she's like dating Jackson, like she can't believe that she's like been betrayed. I was just like, wow, Stassi, that's like a legit mean girl. Like,
yeah, she definitely has her real mean girl moments. Oh, and she takes a while to warm up too. Like I think we talked about this in the beginning when I first started watching, and I was like, these girls are horribly mean. Like this is actually hard to watch. And now you're like, no, she is the show.
It's just can't deny it.
Speaking of Laura Lee,
oh my god,
what a whirlwind! Like what a I just like that did not seem real. Like honestly, watching those episodes, I was like, this is a telenovela. Like I know you could not write this.
And watching it when you're like younger, like versus like watching it when like you're like older, like you just feel so bad for her now. And like before I was like, oh, she's so stupid, like I can't believe she's falling for Jax. Now I'm just like, oh honey, like he was not a good man for you. Like,
no, and she already had so many like, oh man, issues. She was like dealing with her sobriety. It was like, oh. Also, like her voice though is really difficult.
Yeah,
she just sounds like a child.
She literally and like looked like a child. Like it was not a good situation for her.
Yeah. Next one is my butthole is in my butthole.
My butthole is in my butthole. Honestly, I don't even know.
It was Grace Lilly in a very strange fight she was having with oh god, what's it, TJ,
yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, he's like the blonde, the other blonde one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That is so funny. I did not remember that one at all.
Okay, I'm almost done. There's no way I could walk around serving people crispy chicken knowing this information.
That is Stassi.
Yeah, okay, I didn't mean to have them all be Stassi. It's just all the ones that stood
all
out.
of her good quotes are her quotes.
Yeah.
Like she's the literary genius.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
And then the last one.
Wordsmith.
Oh, my favorite too was when they showed that sequence of being like, Stassi has really like what's it called? Like dark and like aggressive,
satanic.
Yeah, like satanic like ways of describing things. And she's like, I'm gonna like peel off your skin with a cheese grater
and like serve it to my dog and like watch as she devour. Like it's just like the level of detail.
Yeah,
I know. It's just like, oh my god.
I was gonna take one of those, but it was like too dark.
It would have been pretty obvious too.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody else could ever.
And then the last one is every girl in there does that job so they can meet a guy to take them out of the club and travel. I might have changed the way that sentence was, but that's what I remember.
Okay. All right, cool. I think that one was Grace Lilly as well, talking about Reagan, right?
That was actually Mia talking about Reagan.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, cool. Really? Is that why everyone works at a club, to be taken away with a sugar daddy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's a good place to meet a guy. I mean, especially, you know, a wealthy gentleman from Charleston.
Those are the quotes that I pulled out. But the best
those
quotes were still in season 1 that we covered in our season. Sorry, the best quotes are in the first episode with the "I am the devil" and
"Don't you forget it."
And "Don't you forget it." And the "Sirs," where what was it?
Villa Blanca is where you take your wife. Sir is where you take your mistress.
Yeah, that one's so good.
That's a good one. I love that one. So I selected a couple of quotes.
Oh, okay. And they're different from these quotes.
Yeah, they are different from these quotes.
Did we have any overlap?
No. I only have 3. Okay. They're all super. Do you want me to get you to guess them? All right, cool. If I wanted to stay with an overgrown frat boy, I would have stayed with, I won't say the name because then it'll give it away.
That's Stassi.
Yeah.
Talking about Frank and Jax.
Yeah, exactly.
Into club.
Into club. Okay, the next one is, I am dairy free.
Okay.
This one was funny because then this person followed it up with, but I eat cheese and yogurt and brownies. Okay,
you needed that part. The first part is just a statement. I'm dairy free. I'm like, anyone could be dairy free.
Fair enough.
Oh, it's hilarious. Was it Grace Lilly?
It was Grace Lilly. She can't drink milk, but she can eat yogurt and cheese and brownies and all that good stuff. That's and then the last one is I just thought this was like so boring. And you're not gonna know the character because the character isn't even one of the main castmates. Okay. You know what's hilarious? Will has a younger brother, and your dad also has a younger brother. I was just like, wow, that is hilarious.
Okay, that's definitely from Southern Hospitality. Well, you said Will.
Yeah.
So was it Emmy because she's dating Will?
It was Emmy's mom.
Oh, I remember that. They're so similar. They both have brothers.
Younger brothers. It's just like, that's not...
You're meant to be.
Really hilarious, but okay. And yet here I am talking about it many days later. Funny. So, I don't know. I thought that was great.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, I'm crying.
So for the winner of this round, you know what? This one was actually difficult. Like, I thought VPR was going to have it in the bag. But then when I was writing down the quotes, like there was actually quite a few that were from the Southern Hospitality and a little bit more varied too. Like there was some more people who added to the quotes, but for the overall, it was really Grace Lilly and then Lisa Vanderpump and Stassi. Yeah. So just because there's 2, Lisa Vanderpump and Stassi, who really came out on top, I have to give it to Vanderpump Rules, but I definitely have an honorable mention for Southern Hospitality.
Nice, love it. Yeah, I think I have to give it to Vanderpump Rules for this one as well. Like, Stassi's ability to just like craft these ridiculous sentences and just like deliver these like one-liners, like it's unparalleled at this point. Like there are a few people I think on Bravo who are able to kind of like serve such iconic lines. So I definitely do have to give it to Vanderpump Rules.
It's so true, but also makes you realize like if she didn't have those, there would have been almost no iconic lines other than Lisa. So her and Lisa definitely carry it in the like quotability.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I think it's actually interesting too that like she then kind of like starts to like separate herself off from the show because she was like such a big success. Like if you look at all the other cast members, like yeah, they all contribute like one way or another, but like Stassi really like brought this show forward and like made it what it was.
That's true. She's also a writer.
Interesting. She is a writer. She's a novelist.
Novelist.
New York bestselling seller, whatever. I don't
know. Yeah, I think they talked about that.
I think so.
So the winner is Vanderpump Rules. But you know what? It was a close race. It was closer than I thought it would. I mean, it was a sweep for me, but
yeah. but all together, like I really do think that like Southern Hospitality is like coming into its own, and I think if we look at season 2's next year, you know, I'd be interested to see kind of like maybe if that changes a little bit.
True. And the thing that's funny about this show is like it's so polarizing. Like I was looking at some of the feedback on like Reddit or social media, and people either love it or hate it. There's really no in between. I think it's also just because it is being compared against Vanderpump Rules, which is just so dear to our hearts. Like I love Vanderpump Rules, is what got me into Bravo. Like
yeah,
it's definitely hard to beat. I do understand too, like the staff is younger. It's just like such a different vibe. Lisa was such a big part of the show, whereas Leva is really not a very big part of the show at all. So oh, I forgot to put that in one of our sections. There's just too many things to talk about.
Yeah, it's literally.
So it is very different, but it's just so funny. Like a lot of people are either like, this sucks, it's trash, it can't be Vanderpump Rules. Or they're like, wow, this reminds me of young Vanderpump Rules and like its level of delusion and just like craziness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why I'm excited for like next season, because I just know that like there is so much potential with this show. And I really do hope that they do kind of like bring out more of its identity, like bring out more of the Charleston, maybe try to do it a little bit more tie-ins with Southern Charm and just kind of like really bring it together in a nice way. I'd love to see that.
So as a celebration to our winner, Vanderpump Rules, we're going to dive into the newest Vanderpump Rules trailer for season 10, which looks fire.
Oh my god, yeah, all of the trailers for Vanderpump Rules that have come out so far, like specifically the sexy back one from Justin Timberlake's song, that is just too good.
I love that one. I think it's amazing. They leaned in to all the drama and the messiness, and they're giving us exactly what we want. Seriously. I feel like they know this is their redemption.
I think so. I think that they know that they've got a good season on their hands, and I'm so excited.
So my initial reactions was just chef's kiss. It was masterclass. You could tell that they like were capitalizing on all of the rumors that were swirling around, and in the first like 30 seconds they addressed them.
I know, it's incredible. And I think that what's like so exciting about it too is just like how dynamic it's going to be. There's so many storylines that are like unfolding here. Like something's actually Sheena weirdly is kind of like missing from the trailer. Like there's not a lot of Sheena in this.
No, there's like her wedding.
That's like kind of like an event that like other dramas happening around, but like we don't see a lot of her. But like there's a lot of like James and Lala and like Katie and Schwartz and Tom and Ariana. Like it's I'm so excited.
So yeah, like right off the bat, they're like Schwartz and Raquel, they confirm that even James and Lala hooking up, they put in. They have like open relationship with Ariana and Tom. And then of course we have to keep it about a restaurant. So they have like the problems with opening Schwartz and Sandy's. And
Schwartz and Sandy's, sorry.
Yeah, so it's their second. It's not their first rodeo anymore.
Indeed not.
And they even say like everyone's single. Like they're really just like leaning in to this whole storyline of everyone being single for the first time, and like right away you can tell it's like not going to be the same thing that we've been watching for the last few seasons.
Yeah, well, and that's interesting too. Like this is really like a return to the OG cast. Like I think we have James's girlfriend. That's the only new cast member,
That's
as far
true.
as I can really tell from this trailer, right? Like I guess we know Brock, and he's kind of like a little bit of a peripheral cast member. But there's no Charlie. There's none of those like people that we were like seeing in the last few seasons, that they're officially gone, and we're just like back to the OGs. Like I'm so excited.
They're going back to basics, and they
Back
have a
to basics.
they have a Garcelle sighting. That's gonna be exciting.
Garcelle cameo with Oliver and that drama that happened there apparently.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
that's what's funny. I mean, like I feel like in a lot of our episodes we were talking about how things coming out on social media can kind of work against a show, like it did on Winter House, where they were teasing all these pivotal moments. This really feels like they're leaning into all of the rumors that were kind of swirling around. Hopefully it's not being overhyped the way that we've seen in some other shows, but I'm definitely super excited.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. Like it's true, because you have like a divorce that we know about. We have like multiple hookups that we've been like hearing rumors about, and just like hearing about in general for so long, and yet there still feels like there's so much juice that's like gonna come out of this. Like,
yeah, I just didn't expect them to really just like right out of the bat, like right off the bat, be like, yeah, all those things that you heard, they're true, and we're gonna show them.
Yeah, we're gonna show them to you all. Oh my god, we're gonna
mention it all.
Mention it all. Yeah, I feel like we're like so lucky that like all of this was captured like at this time. Like, and like, you know, maybe again like there was like some maneuvering and like creating of storylines or whatever in the background, but like who cares?
No, yeah.
Oh my god.
We're here for it.
We're here for it.
So you mentioned Sheena being kind of like absent from it in the like sexy back trailer. She's like literally not in it. She's maybe in it for like a split second.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And she even posted like blink and you'll miss me or something.
Oh my god. What happened?
So I was looking on Reddit, as I do, to confirm things.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, people are talking about like if this is a sign that she's going to be cut out of a lot of the season, or if she's going to take like a smaller role, possibly because of like Brock and like how people feel towards him. And then people started talking about how there was kind of like this beef with one of the editors a little bit ago, that she had kind of confessed to like putting in a bunch of shots and editing it to make Sheena look silly. Like she would go and find areas where she would look bad and kind of give her a bad edit. She'd put that on a podcast
about that.
Then she was, I don't know if she was fired before or after that. Like I don't know the sequence of events.
I think she was let go before that, and so then she like revealed that that's what she had been doing. Because I seem to remember this from like a couple of years ago or something.
And then Sheena's also been really vocal of how she like comes off looking badly in the show, and she looks super like boy crazy, and she's upset that they don't show like other parts of her life. But I mean, to be fair, they do show quite a bit of Sheena. Like we've seen her through a long time. But yeah, it's I don't know if that's a sign of what's to come. Or
interesting. Well, and at the same time too, like just based on like how much drama is coming out this season, like if you're not delivering at the level of some of your other castmates, like of course you're going to end up on the cutting room floor, because like how can you compete with like a crazy divorce that's happening that we've kind of been seeing at least since like season 1, season 2 of like we've known for a long time that Schwartz and Katie maybe should not have been together. So we have like all of that. We have like the James Kennedy stuff. Like it just feels like we have like a lot going on, and like if you're like, I don't know, if your storyline isn't really measuring up, then maybe you just don't make the cut. Like sucks to suck.
It sucks to suck. I've also heard people speculating of like they wonder if Lala and James's part, where they're saying they hook it up, is a big storyline for the trailer.
Yes, I could totally see that being something that they've like it's like she's like right after she says, "We've hooked up in the past," or "We've hooked up 5 years ago."
Yeah.
Like,
That's so
okay.
true. But
Yeah.
like, I think we were saying this on what we hope Bravo leaves in 2022. Like, if they do that, it's really only going to be to their detriment, because we're going to go in watching and waiting for those moments to happen, and they've built it up now. That if it was just like a misdirect, I don't think the fans will be happy.
I know. I think that'll be pretty annoying, especially because you don't even need it. Like,
No.
come on. And I'm excited to actually see. So I wasn't thinking that I was going to be like really in love with like Raquel this season, and obviously I haven't seen anything, so I can't really know. But I'm excited to see her storyline too. I'm excited to see how that's going to unfold for her with this whole kind of like Tom and Oliver and like whatever ramifications of this ending of engagement like kind of like happens with her.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her stand on her own more, rather than like her as James's girlfriend or like fiance.
Who's always like standing up for him and like kind of looking a little bit foolish, and
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying it might happen with Sheena and Brock. It's like she is continuously standing up for him. And also what's interesting is he got a main character like position last season without having to do anything. Like, he just like, and I feel like no one else really got to do that. And they're saying Sheena probably like talked him up so much, and then they actually get him on camera, and it's like, oh no, everyone
and we were all
him.
so put off. Yeah, really. I didn't even watch. Like, I watched like a couple episodes last season. I didn't watch most of it. I didn't watch.
Oh really? You didn't finish?
I didn't watch. I didn't watch 90% of that season. I think I watched part 1 of a reunion. And that kind of like caught me up to like some of it. Like,
it was rough. It was not good.
It was not good. It was not good. No. So,
but here they are. They're back. Excited to see. Back. We'll be walking you through all of it as we go. And we'll bring a part 2 to Southern Hospitality versus VPR to see what happens the rest of the season.
Yeah, totally. Well, and maybe we'll do like a little Vanderpump Rules like recap or something too.
Yes.
Like, give us a like if you want to see a recap on Vanderpump Rules.